Yo, 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 how's it going, everybody? This is Cass on the Artifact Spaces. See, we already got Fairy up here in Animus form as well. Gonna have just a fun spaces with some of the people on the team to talk about Project Animus, give some of the behind the scenes, and try to answer some of the questions that people had as things opened up. But no, really pumped to see everybody with their Animus. I see a lot of DOBs out there and a lot of people already switching up the POPs to rock them. So it's definitely dope to see. Long time in the making, and so want to make sure everybody enjoys this. But let's throw it to Fairy while we wait for some of the others to join. Fairy, how's it going?
Hello, I am buzzing. I'm on the Animus hype. It's not coming down. I'm always on the secondary page, just looking, window shopping. I'm getting greedier by the minute. I haven't bought any just yet, but I did have a nice swap, which some people know about. But I want all of them. And I thought, I said to myself, oh no, this one's not as cute, just lying to myself. But the more I look at Shellix, my god, I love you so much. So yeah, if anyone's got like a few that they just don't want, they're not falling in love with, feel free to send it my way. And it's so nice to see everybody with their PFPs changing up. Everybody looks so cool. The DOBs got me envious like crazy. Franco, I'm looking at you. But yeah, Cass, nice dragon you got there.
Yeah, I like to flex every now and then. I don't do this always, but sometimes I gotta remind people that I am the Murakami dragon. Only in spirit, not actually on blockchain. That's somebody else. So shout out to them. But I see we got Harlan Perez on stage with us. What's going on, Harlan? I was about to call you the lore master and give you a long-winded like Game of Thrones intro, but I stopped myself just to spare you.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. No, man, all's good. All's good. Just hype seeing everybody's revealing like all these sick animus and just revealing the my own myself actually got some pretty decent ones, so I'm pretty happy with my pool.
You know what's sad is I have a wallet that needs to be restored, so I haven't been able to reveal my animus yet. So I've got some eggs that are just waiting. They're itching. They're shaking. But yeah, if you guys do have, if you've got your reveals, drop them in the chat. I'll definitely start pinning a lot of these up because there's a lot of crazy ones that even after going through QC and all this stuff, you don't see everything until it's all generated and is out. And yeah, a lot of really crazy pieces out there. But Harlan, do you want to start with kind of giving your experience working on the behind the scenes with this, especially something like the trailer, which is dope to see. We had some dope things in there.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the project is like so massive. Honestly, it's like pretty crazy that we decided to do this as this undertaking. Probably the biggest project we've worked on for sure. And I know you mentioned like QC. Like I know good chunk of the team is probably going to have some nightmares about the long nights that we did for QC on 20,000 3D files that are already rigged and ready to go with varying textures, plus the 2D counterparts that all had to be also QC. Yeah, it was intense for the reveal video. Like that's something that we wanted to do something like special. We put a ton of work into the project, and we knew we wanted something to commemorate, obviously, like all the work and all the culmination. And we thought it'd be a good idea to bring in a couple of community members to work on this. So it was a little different than how we typically do this, because normally we go in, we set up, we write up a script, we do some storyboarding, some concepts, put everything together, lay out some animatics, go through a bunch of like different traditional like just animation approaches to get something like this. And with this, we had to willingly try to give up a little bit of that control, which is very different than how we're normally used to working. So we wanted to shine the light on some of like our dope community members. You have Ali, Yuri, who absolutely crushed it. So with that, what we ended up doing was we gave like a base framework on like what to, what we were kind of looking for, some guidelines, some rails and stuff. Um, Fred and I did a lot of just directing. Fred did a lot of the animation directing. I did some of the direction and creative, and we kind of let Ali and Yuri just kind of like run with it, and then just really went through a lot of back and forth to kind of hone in on certain things to kind of get it to where we have it. So kudos to them. They absolutely like crushed it.
Yeah, some claps for Yori and Ali. They weren't able to make it, but we know we're gonna have a separate spaces with them to chat and just kind of go into their perspective on working with the team. But it's definitely dope to hear. It's always a creative group in the Artifacts team, but then when you start bringing others in as well, it's always cool to see what comes out. I love how you put your hand up all respectfully. What's going on?
I just want to make sure that I get this out of the way because I saw one of the questions in the comments. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments and then we'll try and get through as many as we can. But one of the questions was about the artists behind Project Animus. And I have a few words from a very special person to share with you guys. Tommy, the secret weapon of Project Animus. He's the creative mastermind behind the designs of our new friends. I honestly, personally, and I know the group, the team all feel the same, we cannot express enough gratitude towards Tommy and his incredible team for giving us so many unique and lovable characters to collect and hopefully, or eventually rather, bring to life through our own creations and artistic endeavors. I'm just dying to put my Lumina on my clone's shoulder, my little ride or die. Shout out to Jace for sending her home to me. I love you, man. Thank you so much. But yeah, so here's what we asked Tommy. We wanted to know how challenging it was to design entirely new creatures that are distinct from any existing IP. Because as I'm sure you all agree, when somebody says pocket monsters or fantasy creatures, you immediately think of a singular, iconic entity. And if not that, or the other prominent bunch, there's like an endless list. So how did they successfully make Animus stand out on its own? And he replied, originality was important, but it wasn't something we overanalyzed in the exploration phase. We really just wanted to focus on creating memorable characters with a fresh perspective. I was lucky to work with an amazing team of artists, each contributing their own artistic perspectives. This diversity, along with good chemistry, is what naturally shaped Animus's unique identity. So naturally, that led us to ask, what was it like working with Takashi Murakami and his team? He said, it was a true privilege to work with Takashi and his team. He allowed us tons of creative freedom with the character designs, while his approach to his own designs was incredibly meticulous, and I can only imagine. I wish I could have seen them all at work during those times. Netflix, where are you at? You're constantly missing history in the making. Wake up. Anyway, we also asked what it was like creating so many characters that were all so different but from the same universe. Tommy said, it was really fun watching it all come together. Having a clear art direction early was key, especially when working with a team of artists who are bringing such diverse perspectives. The magic was bringing it all together into a consistent visual language that felt like it belonged in the same world. The next question was, by the way, let me know if you want me to pause because I'm wassing. Were there any design elements that you had to compromise on? Now, I was very curious about this one. He said, yes, mostly due to the fact that every character needed a certain amount of trait regions or interchangeable parts. This limited our ability to create simpler character designs. A lot of very cute Animus did not make the cut because of this. And I am so curious, because I have not seen, as to what these Animus look like. I wonder if they'll ever see the light of day. If this is something you guys listening, if you're interested in it, leave a comment under this space, all caps, and say show us with an exclamation mark. If we get 100 comments, I'm going to push the team so hard. Okay, next. How was the process of taking the designs from 2D to 3D? Because, yes, these Animus come with 2D and 3D. I don't know if you've noticed. The creative process was fun, but the technical challenges, especially managing the complex trait system across thousands of 3D assets, were immense. The 3D production for Animus without Josh, our lead technical artist, would have been a nightmare. So shout out to Josh. We need to meet him. Who is your favorite Animus and why? He said, probably Moonfang. I don't know. He just looks sick. Now, if you've ever seen Tommy in real life, like better yet, met him, you'll see why Moonfang exists. Even though he's so chill and so cute, he just has a badass aura.
They definitely are paired together. They're like...
Yeah, definitely. I thought he was a model and had no idea he was animusing away in the shadows, but he's very mysterious and we'd love to learn more about him. So don't worry, guys. Franco is cooking. We're gonna put something a little together with all the BTS stuff for you guys to enjoy. But for now, I will pass it over to Cass. Thank you very much.
Nah, I love the background with Tommy. He's definitely one of those guys. He is a ninja in the shadows, just cooking up a lot of stuff. And part of why we were able to have, like Ferry mentioned, the 3D and 2D comparisons, which is super cool to see because I've noticed there's a lot of PFPs changed, but most of them look like they're the 2D version, which is kind of crazy. So it's super dope. Harlan, did you want to touch on anything around that process of you guys having to go through and make sure everything meshed when it came to the 3D items versus the 2D ones?
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned before, yeah, the QA on that was pretty intense. So we had to go through each one of them. We wrote custom tools in order to be able to essentially assemble all through like a single source like metadata to pretty much generate a lot of the 2D configurations, which is already like an additional undertaking in itself. But at the end of the day, it came out to, just manually just checking a lot of these and getting it to where we felt like they fit well. Working with like Tommy said, working with Takashi is always like a very like fun process and a very 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 meticulous process. Like when you get like some feedback back, and I know like probably this is what Tommy's referring to, where you can go down to like maybe a couple of pixels, and you'll be like, yeah, it looks like the reflection on this particular portion of the eye should be in the left and not the right. So make sure that this is like for everything, and it'll be like a very very tiny thing that he's just like so meticulous on. And I mean, honestly, I love it because it's just the attention to detail. But yeah, we had a ton of extra effort to make sure that all of that and every single element that you see on there has been crafted pretty much by hand and with lots of love.
It's amazing. Yeah, shout out to Takashi. It's always great to have the sensei working with us, and part of why we have such amazing art. And a lot of these characters too, from his the Murakami pool, as some people have noticed, there are characters that were kind of inspired by his movie creation that he was working on, Jellyfish Eyes. And so it's really wild to see something like this where it's a digital version of some of his most popular IP just kind of directly gifted to people. But I see, speaking of, we got Mr. D.O.B., Mr. Zach himself, jumping into the stage. What's going on?
What's going on, fam? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday indeed. Yeah, we're just going through, we talked a lot about some of the background and the art curation process that the team had to go through. And obviously, we got to give a shout out to you for keeping everything together and making sure that we all can still, keep some sort of sanity under all the different things going on. And, shout out to you for staying sane and doing it, bro.
I appreciate it. I don't know how sane I stayed. Had my moments. Community saw those moments on one particular space, but nah. I mean, when all said is done, I'm super happy and proud of the team. Super happy to see a lot of the reactions on the timeline about the art. A lot of people pulling some great Takashi art. What's cool about some of the pulls too, as opposed to CloneX. With CloneX, it's Takashi's footprint all over the collection with his traits. But with this collection, you have 9 species that are really like Murakami, like art in its origin, right? And Tommy took that and put his own spin on it with the traits he worked on to collaborate on with Takashi. So it's so cool because when somebody pulls a Murakami Animus, it's like my first thought is like, oh my god, they pulled like a Murakami piece of art, not like, oh my god, they pulled a Animus with Murakami art. It's just I've been a fanboy of Murakami. I think a lot of people know this about me. When I joined Artifact since 2008, when I went to his exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum of Art, Kanye obviously is what got me into him with the graduation day. So to work on a project, to explain to my wife why I'm on calls at 9, 10, 11 o'clock Eastern time with, Takashi's team, Harlan wasn't lying with how meticulous it needs to be. And it was amazing. It was definitely the most ambitious project to be a part of. I do sincerely apologize to everybody about the delays and how we communicated those delays. But the one thing that I think I remained consistent on, and the team remained consistent on, was we just wanted to make sure that the art was in the best possible shape it can be before we released it. And shout out to Tommy, our whole team. Shout out to Connie, who's in here, who really led a lot of the curation QC. Harlan, Tristan, who I think is going to be joining in a bit. Guy had a lot of sleepless nights, even got sick towards the end a bit over it. So, yeah, I'm happy it's out. I'm happy to see a lot of positive reactions on the timeline. And, yeah, it's onward and upward, right? Like, still a lot more Animus to be pulled and, other fun stuff on the horizon, Animus and non-Animus related.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If I ever get like a cold or, I don't know, even a headache, I have to pause everything. I don't know how you guys do it, but Tristan, God bless you. Like, I don't think anybody knows how hard you work because you're behind the scenes, but I want to like give you a massive hug and tell you that I love you and I'm very grateful that you're part of this team. Thank you so much for all the sleepless nights and of course for working when you were unwell. He came in and meet. Oh my god. What was that?
And quick with the soundboard too. He's got it all.
Off to you, Tristan. How you doing?
I'm alright, thanks. I'm just learning how to use Twitter on my phone, so. How are you guys?
All right, we're glad to see all of Animus out in its glory finally. No, you especially had a few characters where you don't even want to look at them anymore. You said that you're done with them. They're good to go, but you're not talking to them.
Yeah, there's a certain Murakami one that is dead to me because of the amount of QC we had to do on it, but yeah, I don't ever want to look at it again. So, but yeah, it's been fun. So nice to have it behind us so we can move forward on other things.
I don't want to put you on under any pressure to answer this, so feel free to pivot. But what was one of the most difficult things that you faced throughout this process? I know there's one too many, but which one was the hardcore one that made like blood come out of your eyes?
I mean, I think the hardest part of this entire thing was the logistics of everything. 40 different characters, 40 different rigs, multiple traits that were completely different. So having an adaptable rigging system that could take on different shaped elements, like just so what you guys know, if you have a character with wings, you're going to get a rig with wings on it. Whereas if you have a character without wings, you're not going to have that. So it's the rigs are adaptable to whatever you have. I guess that would be the hardest part, and then second to that was obviously rendering everything after that. So using the metadata we generated to generate workable rigged renderable scenes that we could actually mass render. So yeah, it's been a lot of work.
Yeah, I would say like the tooling that we had to like design and build in order to even get this out the door is probably just as impressive as the actual project itself. And most of that you guys will never get to see. Oh, I mean, you'll see it in the rigs and everything else, but we built so much just to get it out.
See, those are the things that I feel like it would be nice to post maybe on the creator website or wherever we can. There were BTS that people will never really get to see or experience themselves, but it's hardship that you guys had to endure, which is nuts. And they're like, oh, why did it take you so long? So, anyway, anger, tone it down, tone it down. Tristan, people have been asking about the 3D files for Animus. Now, we don't really like to give dates anymore, but
We don't.
is there like an estimate? Is it coming in 2027 or a little bit earlier?
No, I don't think you need to wait that long. We have the tooling in place already to kind of get it going. We just need to sync up with people that are now on vacations when they get back to make sure that we can get the service side of things going. So, I mean, we had to have the rigs ready to actually render them. So, if that has any indication of leading you guys to an idea where things are, so it's just more distribution at this point.
So for now, feel free to use your imaginations. Think about what you want to do with your Animus characters, because I see you guys asking for them, but when they do come, will you be utilizing them? That is the question. And remember, I asked you to comment, show us underneath if you want to see which Animus didn't make it to the collection. There's like 5 people that have commented. I need 100 comments. Otherwise, the team's gonna look at me and think, Ferry, you're just pressing us for things that don't matter. Okay?
Which she already does like all the time, you
All
guys.
the
Like
time, Jay. Why am I like this?
I'm actually in our board right now looking at some of these unreleased ones, and man, they're sick.
Yo, Jay, can I press you?
Nope, not me. It's not up to me.
Okay, until we get.
Barry's playing Who Can Break the NDA game today. That's what she said. Happy Thursday, everybody.
There's also unreleased Murakami ones too, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and those look sick.
Wait, what?
I mean, we did have to sacrifice 20,000. I mean, where do y'all think that sacrifice came from?
Oh my god, I completely forgot about this. So you're telling me that the people decided that we should cut this collection in half, so all the hard work that you guys put in, they'll never get to see, and they're still saying, why did it take so long? Anyway, Cass, take over. Cass.
No, I actually just started doing the math because the amount of Murakami characters or traits that would have been out there might have satisfied a few more people, but it's all good. We're in this world, and it's a fun one to be in at the end of the day, and I'm excited. I'm happy with how things have rolled out. I know a lot of people are posting and sharing their reveals, which is super dope. So we'll hopefully see more of those. Zach, I know one of the things people wanted to talk about was reveals and just going over how incubation played into it again. And if we could just give like a refresh for people and try to give them a little understanding, that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. So most of I'd say like 99% of the information's on the website, animus.artifact.com. But in terms of an overview, right, the general principle was the more points you had, the higher probability you had of getting a rare Animus, right? And points were accumulated by incubating your egg, which means linking a clone or a clone in a pod or a clone or a pod, right? So those were ways to do it. And then also some clones came with some benefits like Murakami drip, Murakami DNA, as well as some helmets and some other rare clone traits. And what we also did, right, was there's a section on the site where you could read about the special editions, which are the 40 shiny, 40 ghost, and the 8 Murakami dragons, the 8 mythic Murakami dragons. Those, we kind of developed a system that allowed everybody to really get a chance at them, right? So if you read on the site, it really gets into like how the distribution of those special editions played into account. Artist editions, you needed to incubate with an artist edition clone to get it. So there were definitely some left over that were also up for grabs. The one thing I'll say that's not really mentioned on the site, oh wait, one more thing on the site that's mentioned. We also wanted to make sure that we allocated a very, very, small and fair percentage of Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, and some cosmic elements, Animus, to people who didn't incubate, just because, we want people who aren't in the artifact ecosystem to still be excited about getting an egg and revealing something really cool, right? But obviously we prioritized our holders. That was the whole point of incubation. The last thing I'll say is in terms of rarity, because I think, one thing we've been saying the whole time with Animus compared to CloneX, it's much more complex and nuanced in terms of rarity. There are rare traits, there are rare backgrounds, there are rarer species by total quantity in generations, right? There's Murakami drip, there's TM drip, there's TM Animus. So all these things factor into it. I would say that one thing that we looked at is like, okay, there are some people who are going to want a TM Animus, right? Let's say most people. There are some people who know that they can't get that, but have a lot of points, right? Based on their probability. And maybe they want a Gen 1, maybe they want a TM drip Animus over a Gen 2 character, right? Like maybe they want a TM drip Garanji over a Earth Sky Rage, right? Even though Sky Rage is really dope. So those factors played into it too, where, when we looked at rarity, we also included like TM drip and some of the other rare elements from like the lower generations in the distribution calculation. But we really tried to prioritize like the Gen 1s, the TM Animus, some of the rare Gen 2s to really make those like the standouts of the collection. So that's a bit of an overview, but most of it's captured on the website. And if anybody has any more questions on it, they could DM me and I could get into as much as I can about it.
Sounds like you're doing some incubating over there yourself, Zach.
Yeah, sorry. I got the little 3-month-old Frankie next to me. I'm trying to be up here, answer some questions, and then get back to daddy duty.
Dude, I feel you. I literally just put my little one to sleep at 4 months. I'm just in between time now.
Yeah. But I should post pictures too. Like when Animus was revealing, I had to hold her because my wife was doing something. So literally, she's like on my lap, facing the computer screen as Animus is going live, and my wife snapped some pictures of it. So I know it's probably some lame daddy content for most of the community, but it was kind of surreal for me because, a lot of sleepless nights for me, going to bed at 2 or 3 a.m. and like not getting to spend that time with her. So it was kind of crazy that I got to hold her while watching Animus reveal. So kind of like a surreal experience, but really weird and funny at the same time.
Dude, yeah, man, I totally relate there. We had some meetings, and yeah, I mean, for a good chunk of them, I had like, Zane strapped onto me the whole time. I think Fairy probably caught me on one of those, and literally just working on Animus with the baby strapped onto me as well.
Yeah. I might have to dip a little earlier than I want, Cass, but let's keep it going. If there's anything else specifically you think I can answer on Animus.
I don't know. I feel like you definitely covered a lot of it. Like you said, a majority of it, we tried really hard. I know, you and David especially, there was a lot of iterations on how the reveal system and how incubation could come about, and so it was. There was a long time period where just figuring out what to make sure people knew in the beginning before incubation went live was a big undertaking and task. So I feel like if people go and double check it, I know there's always a lot of information there that you might have missed or misread. But yeah.
I would also say that anybody who incubated with a Murakami clone, you had like a really, really, really high chance, like really, really, really high chance of pulling not just you were guaranteed a Murakami Animus, but an even higher chance of pulling a Gen 1 Murakami Animus. And then everybody who I almost said Murakami instead of incubated. With a Murakami drip, you also, per the website, had a higher probability of pulling a Murakami Animus. And I would be curious to do the numbers because I think a really big group of people who incubated with drip actually got a Murakami Animus, not an Animus with Murakami drip. Both are dope. I've seen so many Animus with Murakami drip. But just saying, those probabilities worked out pretty well just based on the number of people from our community who incubated. We were able to, set aside a lot of those in the probability and the math that David and I worked on with the development team.
Do we have an idea of roughly how many different traits exist?
Tristan can correct me because it was funny. Me, Tristan, and Connie were talking about it, but in terms of unique assets, Tristan, I think it's somewhere between 6,000 to 7,000, right?
Yeah, it's a few thousand. I honestly can't give you a number.
Yeah, and
I'd have to look at my spreadsheets.
And there are some traits very, like even on my Mr. Dob, where if you click on one of the traits, you'll see that it's on a few different animus. But one thing that's helpful in the marketplace is like if you filter by species, you could see like, okay.
Oh no!
So
Did we lose him?
yeah. No, am I here?
Yeah, we're here.
You're back.
Sorry,
You're
my
back.
alarm went off. Sorry. I was just saying that there are some traits that are on multiple animus, like that they share in common, even if they're different species. But one way to like, if you wanted to see like, okay, how many Mr. Dobbs has this particular trait? If you just filter by the species on that particular trait, obviously you can look at it on a species by species basis. But it was pretty cool to see how some traits overlapped with other species, just because they looked so similar. And we didn't want to just create a new trait for the sake of creating a new trait.
I mean, on the 3D side, that is a separate asset though. So I would count that as a separate trait myself. It's on paper for you guys. No, metadata wise. Yeah.
Metadata wise, same trait. Asset wise, it's unique.
It's actually super different. Like, oh, sorry, Faye.
No, sorry, you go.
Oh no, I was saying that's just one of the really unique things that we did over here with Animus. Like having a Tantan boat mouth can be on 10 or 15 different species, and they're all completely different in how they're all set up. And then on CloneX, we just have that one trait. So it's really cool just to see how the traits look across different species and the unique take on each one.
Love it. Yeah, I gotta say, I saw Shake put his dragon in the chat. That one is looking mighty fine. I feel like some of the artist edition ones you guys really went in on there. I forgot who revealed the Moonfang one, but that one is 100% my favorite, and heartbroken that it's not mine, but it's all good.
Yeah, I remember seeing that one during like the QA process, and I think a lot of us were just like, "Damn, this is like insane."
Yeah, it's in my opinion, it's the dopest one in the entire collection, the artist edition Moonfang. The other thing too, I know we're talking a lot about Murakami, but I think we're all also super proud of like the non-Murakami characters that Tommy created, like the Moonfangs, the Juggernoxes, the Garanjis, all those, right? Like the Sky Rages. I think the Synapses. They all have a unique quality to them. Like I think I saw Jack pull a couple of the Juggernoxes. I think I saw Snap pull a Juggernox, and I commented that the 2D version of his, it had like almost like a Super Shredder Ninja Turtle style helmet, and it just looked like one of the sickest 2D pieces of art in the collection. So I think that's what's cool about it too. It's like whether you like the species more or not, it's like depending on what you pull, you might like your 2D better than the 3D or vice versa. So I think, again, Ferry, you said it, kudos to Tommy and his team for coming up with this original art and also like elevating Takashi's art by coming up with traits that are consistent with his whole design system.
Honestly, incredible job all around. I need to know what each of your favorite animuses are. You can only pick one. Don't cheat. Okay, Zach, you can go first.
So mine is a little guy. It's a Gen 1. It's I'm not going to pronounce it right. we need Z up here to pronounce it, or maybe even Connie, but Volta, right? He's like one of the really small guys. I don't know. I helped curate him with the team, and because there were so many different traits when we were generating it, each like the first few times it came out kind of weird. So it was one of the ones where like we were like to the 10th degree extra careful with like which ones were selected because of such a small quantity. So I would go Boltuck. I like those little robot dudes.
Oh my god, the shiny Boltok, it is so beautiful. I also very much am in love with Boltok. Jay, what about you?
I'll probably pick like Sigma. I have quite a few that are kind of like ones that I really enjoy, but I like Sigma's design, just the chunkiness of it with armor and without. It's actually such a dope character.
That's interesting because if you've seen Jay in real life, he actually looks a little bit like a Sigma. No? Do you agree? T, what about you? Which one do you like?
I like Daub, but no one wanted to give me one, so I'm sad.
I didn't get a Sigma either, or Dom.
I was trying to convince someone to trade me a Gen 3 for a Daub, but no one was biting.
Wow, that's such a good deal. Why wouldn't they? Honestly, though, Gen 3 is sick. Cass, we know Moonfang is one of your favorites, but do you have another one?
Yeah, the Yoroi. I feel like I'm butchering that name. Or Yori.
Yeah, no, you
Those ones are so super sick. Especially I saw someone with like a Murakami one where it was like there was nothing but just like Murakami kind of like designs and its wing and like an earring. And I was just like, wow, that's just the craziest futuristic like sci-fi Pokemon character I could think of. But all mixed with Murakami in this new world. So yeah, definitely snapped. And I don't know, some of these, I think it is once again just seeing some of the like Himawari or like some of the other Mr. Dobbs, like those kind of characters, they definitely hit. Like Zach's PFP is kind of epic, which is it's crazy. It looks super cool.
It definitely suits Zach so well.
Yeah, I'm always in the red. I don't know if that's good or bad. Clearly, I have a trouble with dates, which is funny and not funny. But I promise, fam, next few projects that are coming out are going to be also pretty memorable, and we're going to do a lot better with comms around dates. But yeah, living and breathing in the red on this project. So when I pulled that, I thought the same too. Cast like the gods were shining down on me and gave me a red one because it was like, okay, like there's blood on the leaves with this project. You know?
Hey, you gotta cut yourself some grace. You got a lot that you have to handle, and no, it's so yeah, it's great.
As long as I got Kira laughing, I was waiting for Kira to because I know Kira's either laughing with me or at me, and probably both. But shout out to Kira. I had a good moment with him after a Spaces, just grounding me in terms of how like the expectations he has for quality wise with Artifact in terms of the digital and physical side. So shout out to Kira. I know I didn't say it to him after, but it was a helpful conversation in terms of why he's here and why so many others are here. So Kira, no bullshit, all through the noise. Appreciate it, brother. And I like what you pulled. Your Mythlet. Mythlet's a dope one too. Similar to Yuri, it has like 3 different TM traits. So like it's really cool to see how those come out, either clothed or like half clothed or not clothed based on what you pull.
Can we all just go and look at Connie's PFP, please? It's so funny.
It's so good.
So funny. I don't know if I have any other questions lined up. I thought maybe if you guys have any insight to any funny things that happened or any interesting scenarios. I know there was a lot of scenarios, but you got anything to share with us that people may not know?
I'm trying to think of like Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like right now it's like with all the work that we put in, it's like everything's kind of like a blur right now. Still need like
Yeah.
a little bit of time to just like recover. And
I
But I
Yeah,
but I do think Fairy at some point we should do like a behind the scenes, because Harlan's right. It's been such a long time that everything's a bit of a blur. But with a bit of distance, it'd be funny to come out with the chronicles, both the good, the bad, the ugly, and the funny.
there's been a lot of effort that's gone into Animus, from the art teams to tech teams to like even like Zach, as he's been putting all these extra hours. So as Harlan said, there's a lot of it's still quite fresh. So we all kind of in this weird dazed and confused moment right now. But yeah, I mean, my appreciation goes out to everyone that basically touched Animus, because it's been a journey.
yeah, absolutely. When I said that the team poured itself into this, it wasn't some just like little one-liner. We legit the team poured themselves into this.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you guys as well for involving a bunch of us that aren't usually a part of things like this. Like me personally, for example, I'm really, really grateful for the opportunities that you guys brought up for me, and just like leaving my mark, or like having the memories of being involved in something that is so massive. It's giant, and I honestly don't know how you guys managed it with such a small team that we have, but the memories have been etched in my brain forever, and I'm very, very grateful. So thanks, guys. I asked Connie the same question as well. I was like, "Hey, you got any funny stories?" And he's like, "Ferry, my brain is gone." It's right. Come back to me in like 5 months. So we'll let the team rest a little bit. Zach, I know you've got a lot to do, daddy duties and all. I don't want to keep you too much. If anybody up on stage needs to go, that's absolutely fine. Cass, do you think we have time to go on for a little bit longer, or shall we wrap it up?
If Tristan had a thumbs up, maybe we have a few people come up, ask a couple questions, and we wrap it up. But if you guys got any questions for the team, want to jump in real quick, feel free to request up before we close it out. In the meantime, I will complain about not having a Moonfang yet, and I'm looking at the few that there are out there, and kind of annoyed that there's really not many of them. I thought there was going to be a lot more when I was doing the numbers, but it's still a little slim.
I wonder how many percent of people have opened their eggs. Do we have that number somewhere? I don't.
I would need to double check. Right now, I think we're at like close to 40. No, we're getting to we're like at 30%. Just doing some rough math. But we got a couple people up on stage. What's going on, Tebby? What's going on, Kang? We'll throw it to Tebby first.
Thank you. First off, I just want to say,
Oh, Tebby, my God, your Murakami mouth is so wide open that I
all
cannot
right,
hear
hold
a
on,
word you're
hold on,
saying.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Give me 1 second.
Tebby is shouting from the distance with that MK mouth.
All right, what about now?
I think it's getting better.
What about now?
There we go. There we
Okay,
go.
all right, listen. Just want to say thanks for having me on stage, and wanted to give the team a massive shout out, and thank you for dropping the project. I think this was like a long time coming for like all of us. Obviously, you guys have been sleeping and breathing this whole thing the whole time. But wanted to start by saying thank you, and wanted to maybe put the question out there that I think everybody in the audience probably has, and the people that are going to be listening back is: we're here, they're here, we're all hyped about the art, we're soaking it in, we're enjoying it. Um, but maybe like a little bit more of the vision of what like I think Yarlin said earlier, like we poured ourselves into this, right? Like, and this was everything we really went hard on it. And the question that I have, and I'm sure other people have, is why? What are we looking forward to now that this is here? Something that we can take away as it wasn't. just dropping it, but there's X, Y, and Z that we can look forward to. And it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be like be dates or anything like that. But what is something that, as a clone, as a Animus holder, now that it's here, that we can look forward to?
Well, I think it's similar to clones in this instance, where we have a lot of the 3D assets, like Tristan was hinting towards, ready to go, and they're definitely a much better quality, so it'll be easier for people to use. And there's still the same goals to make everything that we do easier to use on the 3D asset side, and also build the IP ourselves as well. So it's one of those things where, obviously, as you heard, there's so much effort being put into just making sure that the art and the project itself is done and taken care of, that the next part and next phase comes when it comes. And so just have to stay tuned. I know we'll be sure to keep building the story and bring people along, make sure people understand what's happening.
Tevi, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess it does.
Tevi's like, I'll take whatever, man.
I mean, he
No.
tried. He tried. Tim, we got to give you props for trying, man. It's like there's a lot of stuff that I'm sure we would all want to say, but just can't. If you want like a more direct answer for that.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of what, honestly, like I was looking for a little bit more of a direct answer, right? Like it's like, yeah, too early to tell, but we'll bring it back X, Y, and Z time, which I think is a perfectly good answer. And unfortunately, when it's like daytime, I'm in the middle of work, so there's a lot of me rushing and throwing stuff out so I can get back to work as well. But I know that's probably something that's been floating out there on people's mind. I wanted to make sure that we put it out there at least, and sounds like it's stay tuned and we'll bring it back. But again, before I drop off, just wanted to say again, massive thank you. I was fortunate enough to pull some incredible animuses, and the, I don't even know if that's the right word, but like the one that I'm PFP in right now was the one that I was hoping to get from Takashi Murakami. So happy as can be, great work, and we appreciate it. Or
Dude,
I
thank you.
should
Thanks for
say,
sharing that reveal
I
video too.
appreciate it. Everybody can say their own piece, but I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you joining, Tevi. Always good to have you up. We got Kang up as well. Kang, what's going on? Oh man, Kang is more rugged than Tevi was, or maybe I can't hear him.
No, I can't hear him either.
Same.
Kang, you might want to drop down and then come back up. Meanwhile, yeah, he's Kang. I see you still trying. It ain't working, man. Jay, maybe you can touch on the law if you have anything there. I know some people are asking about that. That might be a bit early as well.
Yeah, I mean, we can kind of go through where we've been. I mean, where we're going is just something like I can't really talk about at the moment. But is there any specific questions you're looking for? Is something you want to go into or dive deeper into either the first half of things, like the log
If I
section?
may, can I jump in real quick? And I do have a specific question.
Yeah.
I know Ferry was teeing this one up, but I do have a specific question. Okay, so in the reveal video, it says year 5, new clone era. What happened? And the last log that we got was us landing on the planet and saying, finally, we're here, right? So now 5 years have passed. Question 1 is, am I interpreting that right? And 2, anything you can give us about year 0 to year 5 that we can maybe touch on?
Yeah, you're interpreting that right. So yeah, we've arrived as of the last log. And yeah, 5 years has passed. They arrived into pretty much like a fresh planet. It was very early on in its inception, so pretty much a blank canvas to work on. So 5 years of a lot of building. I mean, I know we showed a little bit of the background and stuff in there, and some of the cities and where clones are living now. So, but to like, I would just say, just think about it as like imagine like together within like the clones and the Animus and stuff, there was just a lot of building to bring society back up to what it once was, or even better than what it once was before. So little hints of like the new clone era. I mean, a lot of the stuff before. I mean, at least how the story is kind of being told. It's like it's a story of like loss and yearning and hope and looking into something better to new times, like greener pastures type of thing. So I mean, the story I think emulates a lot of like just sentiment, I think, as well. Like, I mean, I've been in CloneX before I even worked at Artifact. I got, clones in really early. I've had mint clones. So a lot of the story kind of just incorporates a bit of like the story itself of like what we're doing with the clone IP, plus a little bit of like, just, IRL stuff to weave things in and blend things in. So yeah, I would say for those 5 years that you were interpreting there, yeah, it's just a lot of work, a lot of building, a lot of love, sweat, and tears to bring things back up to its former glory.
Cool. I think that's dope. And if Kang is not back yet, I have one last question, and then I will drop after that. And that's around the explosion, right? So the first time we saw the dragon was in the explosion of the planet, and so maybe talk a little bit more about that, and if you can, yeah, anything that you can share around that in the lore and that portion of it would be dope.
Yeah, so that was the first time we teased the dragon Sakura. Um, is yeah, right back when on the final video of Exodus. And he has a lot that went on, and we just wanted to like drop a little hint, but there's some metaphorical stuff in there too. New beginnings, like from chaos, new life begins. There's a lot of stuff in there that we weaved into it, like hope. A lot of like the the themes of the overall story is there. We just wanted to drop a little Easter egg in there. There's a little bit more to that, but I'll probably save that for a little later.
I mean, I really thought you were gonna slip up and give a little bit more, but okay, all right. I feel
I mean,
like
Tevy, I keep it a buck with you guys, but you know, I say what I can.
all right. Well, I'll look forward to more coming up later. Okay. Well, thank you again. I will drop down and appreciate once again all the hard work. I think we're about a quarter of the way through the reveal now, and we'll just be enjoying what's being pulled and where we go from here. Hopefully, it's not super long before we find out a little bit more, but also you guys need to rest, so we'll go from there. Thanks.
Thank you, Tevi. We have a disappointing 4 messages that say show us for the Animus that haven't been released. Like, you guys, do you want things or not? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, I'm offering and you're literally not taking. Anyway, Kang, come and save us. The new master of the AI art, Kang the Conqueror, how you doing? Oh no! We can't hear you. Cass, Jane, can you hear him?
It's a negative. It's R.I.P. to Kang.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Are you on PC maybe? Do you want to try on phone? Maybe not, that's not the case. Internet? I don't know what could be the issue, but maybe.
Yeah, we might just have to get him up here next time. But yeah, it's been a fun one. I know there's still more things to come, so we'll have more spaces like this and definitely more projects that are being worked on. A lot of deliveries still that are going out and things that are being taken care of. So if you guys need anything, feel free to hit any of the team up on socials or just reach out to the team through the Discord. Let's see, Kang, third time is a charm. We're not going to let you down. No clone left behind, all right? Let's see if we can make it happen. Kang, please be able to speak this
know
time.
it's working now.
Hey,
Yo,
there
the
we
setup work.
Yeah.
I had to switch over to the phone, man. Like Twitter on the PC apparently hates me, so yeah, screw you, Elon. But so my question is this: obviously, when you're looking at the artwork, when you're looking at the traits, the generations, Artifact is clearly targeting a spot that honestly has been left open, um, by other, companies that we shall not, name. So I'm really kind of curious, and I don't know if you guys are even able to talk about that, because of, potential NDAs and stuff. But I'm really excited to see that Artifact is trying to fill that void, especially when it comes to blockchain and players able to trade with other players, and and also incorporating all sorts of blockchain technology. Everything from gaming to trading cards, so forth, etc. So I don't know if you guys are allowed to talk about that and allowed to elaborate on that, or if that's something we have to wait on in the future to hear from.
It went a little bit robotic on me towards the end there, but I think I got the most of it. And no, I think you've seen how the team has approached things with spreading IP for clones, and the clothing and Artifact is just like a whole as a brand. So it will definitely be interesting to see what kind of roads it leads with this type of IP. But I definitely see where you're coming from, and I don't think there's much I could say on that one. I don't know if Harlan could give any sort of tidbits, but I will give y'all a leak. I think on a call like 40 minutes ago, Harlan was saying that he he had to watch himself in public spaces because he had the tendency to overshare. So I'm preparing. I'm trying to save you, bro, but I'm still throwing it to you.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Um, Yeah, no, I mean, a main focus for us in this was to really build out a strong, foundational core to the IP and really think through, rarity elements like design, the 2D to 3D elements, fully functional rigs, pretty much anything that you would need to build on top of. So a lot of our work for the past 2 years was really just getting that infrastructure from built in from the ground up, from scratch. But like I said, build custom tooling in order to do other things. And that's probably like as much as I'm probably gonna share with that though. But it's like yeah, just really thinking focus on a really strong foundational infrastructure for this.
Cool. And for those of you guys who have not revealed yet, please reveal your Animus because I'm trying to build my AI models and I need more data to work with.
Yeah, I love it. You've been going off. Definitely love seeing all the AI stuff. Shout out to Beetle as well. I think I've seen a lot of his work. Really dope AI animations, and a lot of other dope creators out there doing edits and whatnot and renders. I think I saw a crazy amount of different like 2D drawings and things even before reveal. So shout out to everybody that's been cooking up. I know it's going to be more fun once the files get out there, but stay tuned on that. And obviously we'll be back with a few more things. Let's give the last word to Kang though. If you got any words of wisdom you want to leave the people with, and then we'll close it up.
Oh, from me?
Yeah, I just I'm feeling like this is the right thing. You came through with the vibe. You struggled to get up here. It's part of the story now. So now you got to give the last word.
Uh, well, words of inspiration. I know that a lot of people have been kind of, frustrated with the time frame and stuff, but realize that great things do take a lot of time to create, and a lot of times we are not aware of what happens in the background. But just know that this is a new IP that's being built, and when you think about what is being built against and what it's already out there, we're talking about those similarities that I was talking about earlier. Um, and you guys actually having IP rights to your own, clones, your own Animus. And it's one of the reasons why I've really kind of stepped up my art a bit, uh, because there's a lot of, potential, to really kind of take things in all sorts of unlimited directions. And so, I want people to really kind of focus on uh, what they can do, to grow their own business within blockchain and use this as a launch pad to do that rather than just paying attention to floor price and blah blah blah. Really kind of take note of what's being built and this potential, um, and just know that you are on the ground floor of something that is great that is happening. So I'm still new to CloneX, uh, but once I kind of realize things, I'm like, okay, I'm going a little bit strong. I don't have like a lot of liquidity like some of you guys here, but I really do like going strong within this community. I really appreciate the art. I really like the vibes. I love the aesthetic, and I love the plans and the inspiration and the motivation that they have, especially when it comes to this bear market. So we don't see like a lot of NFT projects even stay afloat, let alone move ahead. So just take note of that. Remember that. Kudos to the king. I mean to the team, and thank you for all you guys do. So that's all I gotta say.
Man, that was why you came. That's why we needed you to come through, Kang. Those were the words we needed to hear.
Wow, absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for your acknowledgement and for your kind words and for that beautiful voice. You should come up more often. Cass, send it!
Oh, it's not really like a send it vibe. I'm playing it straight from the animus.artifact.com website. So it's like, yeah, Farrah's got the remix. Thank you guys for coming. Stay tuned
Thank
to
you,
the next
everyone.
one. See ya.
Love you guys.